Virgo, listen, before we even start, I need to say this. You carry so much. You balance everyone else's chaos. You mediate everyone else's drama. You keep the peace even when it costs you your own. And most people don't see that. Most people just see the smile, the grace, the way you make everything look easy. But I see the weight. I see what it takes for you to show up the way you do. So if you're here right now, if this found you at 11:11 or any other moment when you needed to hear something real, I'm honored to be the voice that reminds you of what you already know deep down. You're more powerful than you've been letting yourself believe. Now let's talk about what's actually happening. Stop everything right now. Because that thing you've been sensing, that suspicion you've been carrying, that feeling you've been trying to talk yourself out of, you were right. You've been right this whole time. And I need you to hear that. I need you to let that land because I know how you operate. I know you've been questioning yourself, wondering if you're reading too much into things, if you're being paranoid, if you're creating problems that don't exist, but you're not. What you've been picking up on, it's real. Stay with me. Because there's something about this moment, about this 11:11 energy, about this particular alignment. It's bringing clarity, it's bringing confirmation, it's bringing truth to the surface in ways you can't ignore anymore. And that truth, it's exactly what you suspected. Have you been feeling this tension between what you sense and what you want to believe? Let me know in the comments if this is already resonating. Because here's what I keep picking up on. You've been watching something or someone or maybe multiple someones. You've been noticing things that don't add up, details that don't match, energy that feels off even when everything on the surface looks fine. And your nature, it's been trying to give everyone the benefit of the doubt. You've been looking for alternative explanations. You've been trying to see both sides. You've been hoping there's a reasonable explanation that makes your suspicions unnecessary. But deep down, you know something's not right. You know someone's not being honest. You know there's more happening beneath the surface than what's being shown to you. And that knowing, it's been eating at you because you don't want to be right about this. You don't want your suspicions to be confirmed. You don't want to face what it means if what you're sensing is actually true. But it is. And the universe, it's confirming that for you right now. Does this feel accurate? Drop a comment if you're recognizing this pattern. Because here's what's happening with this 11:11 moment. It's not random. It's not coincidence. 11:11, it's about alignment, about clarity, about things being revealed that were hidden. And for you specifically, it's about trusting your intuition even when it goes against your desire for harmony. Because that's your struggle, isn't it? You're so wired for balance, for fairness, for seeing the good in people, that when your intuition tells you something's wrong, you fight it. You tell yourself you're being too judgmental, too suspicious, too quick to assume the worst. But what if you're not? What if your intuition is just working correctly? What if those suspicions aren't paranoia? They're protection. And here's what I need you to understand about this moment. Your suspects being true. And it's not happening to hurt you. It's happening to free you. Free you from the mental gymnastics you've been doing trying to make things make sense, free you from the emotional labor of giving people chances they don't deserve, free you from the exhaustion of pretending you don't see what you clearly see. Because you're tired, aren't you? Tired of second guessing yourself, tired of making excuses for people, tired of hoping that if you just give it a little more time, a little more patience, a little more understanding, things will somehow align with the version you want to believe. But they won't, because what you suspected, it's true. And now you have to decide what you're going to do with that truth. Have you been avoiding making a decision because you didn't want to face the truth? Let me know in the comments, because I keep sensing there's been a choice sitting in front of you, a choice you've been postponing, a choice you've been hoping you wouldn't have to make, a choice that requires you to prioritize your peace over keeping everyone else comfortable. And that's hard for you. Your entire energy is built around maintaining balance, avoiding conflict, keeping things harmonious. So making a choice that disrupts that harmony, even when it's necessary, it feels wrong. It feels selfish. It feels harsh. It feels like you're being the problem instead of solving it. But here's what you need to hear. Sometimes disrupting false harmony is the only way to create real peace. Sometimes the balance you're trying to maintain, it's not actually balanced at all. It's just you carrying more weight than everyone else, so things appear even. And that's not sustainable. It's not. You've been feeling the strain. You've been feeling the cost of maintaining a version of peace that requires you to ignore your own instincts. And this 11:11 moment, it's asking you to stop ignoring, stop excusing, stop pretending, just see what's real, acknowledge what's true, trust what you know. Does this resonate? Comment below if this is landing. Because here's what else I'm picking up on about your specific situation. The thing you suspected, it's not just about one person or one situation. It's about a pattern of people not being fully honest with you, a pattern of you sensing things but talking yourself out of trusting that sense, a pattern of you giving more credibility to what people say than what they actually do. And that pattern, it's been costing you. It's been costing you your peace, your clarity, your ability to trust yourself. Because every time you override your intuition to give someone the benefit of the doubt, you're teaching yourself that your inner knowing isn't reliable. You're training yourself to doubt the very thing that's trying to protect you. And your intuition, it's one of your greatest gifts. You read energy better than most. You sense dishonesty even when it's wrapped in pretty words. You know when something's off even if you can't prove it logically. But you've been taught to value logic over feeling, to value fairness over instinct, to value giving everyone a chance over protecting yourself from people who've already shown you who they are. And that teaching, it's been keeping you stuck in situations that drain you, stuck with people who don't value you, stuck in dynamics that require you to constantly question your own perception. But this 11:11 energy, it's breaking that pattern. It's saying enough doubting yourself, enough making excuses, enough prioritizing other people's comfort over your own clarity. It's time to trust what you know. Have you been feeling this shift, this increasing unwillingness to ignore what you're sensing? Let me know in the comments. Because what I keep seeing is you're reaching a breaking point, not a breakdown, a breakthrough, a point where you're no longer willing to sacrifice your inner knowing for external harmony, a point where you'd rather face uncomfortable truth than maintain comfortable lies, a point where your peace matters more than being liked, more than being fair, more than being the one who always understands. And that breaking point, it's powerful. It's the moment you stop betraying yourself to accommodate others. It's the moment you recognize that real balance includes honoring your own needs, your own boundaries, your own truth. It's the moment you become unavailable for dynamics that require you to pretend you don't see what you clearly see. And when you reach that point, when you fully step into that energy, everything changes, not just externally, not just in how people respond to you, but internally in how you experience yourself and how much you trust yourself and how grounded you feel in your own knowing. Because here's the truth. You don't need external validation to know what's real. You don't need proof to trust your instincts. You don't need everyone to agree with you to make choices that protect your peace. You just need to trust yourself. And this 11/11 moment, it's inviting you to do exactly that, to trust what you've been sensing, to acknowledge what you've been suspecting, to act on what you know, even if you can't explain it in ways that satisfy everyone else. Does this feel like where you are right now? Drop a comment and let me know, because I want to talk about what happens next. Not what's going to happen, not what's guaranteed to unfold, but what becomes available when you finally trust your suspicions instead of fighting them. What becomes available is clarity, crystal clear, undeniable clarity about who's real and who's performing, about who's aligned with you and who's just using your energy, about what situations serve your growth and what situations just drain you. And with that clarity, you can make different choices. You can step back from people who aren't being honest. You can create distance from situations that feel off. You can protect your energy without needing to justify it to anyone. Because the thing is, you've been so focused on being fair, on giving everyone equal consideration, on making sure you're not jumping to conclusions, that you've been unfair to yourself. You've been giving more weight to other people's words than your own feelings. You've been trusting their explanations more than your own observations. You've been making yourself wrong to make them right. And that stops now. Your suspects are true. Whatever you've been sensing, whatever you've been questioning, whatever you've been hoping wasn't real, it is. And you don't need more evidence. You don't need more time. You don't need more chances to see if maybe you were mistaken. You saw correctly the first time. You felt it accurately. You knew. And now it's time to honor that knowing by acting on it, not with drama, not with confrontation, not with trying to prove to everyone else that you were right, but with quiet, powerful choices that protect your peace, with boundaries that honor your truth, with distance from what drains you, with presence for what actually fills you. Have you been ready for this shift but afraid to fully commit to it? Let me know in the comments, because I keep sensing there's a part of you that's been waiting for permission. Permission to trust yourself. Permission to make choices based on feeling instead of proof. Permission to prioritize your peace over everyone else's comfort. And here it is. You have permission to believe your intuition even when others call it paranoia. Permission to create boundaries even when people call them unfair. Permission to walk away from anything that doesn't feel right, even if you can't logically explain why. Your inner knowing doesn't owe anyone an explanation. Your peace doesn't need to be justified. Your truth is valid simply because it's yours. And this 1111